In our trucks now, we have the smart truck system. There should be a manual which you'll find in your truck, which gives you an overview how to operate the system and where to find everything. We've tried to make it easy, so all your operations, your PTO engagement, your lights, your inverter, flashes and everything is all in one place, so you don't have to go looking on the dash. How this works is, as soon as the ignition is on and the engine is started, you will get this screen. You'll see there's two numbers here. These are codes for the screen and for the... Can I touch it? Can you just go back to me starting up without... Okay. So when I turn the ignition on, you'll get this screen, the smart truck screen, which there's two numbers on the lower left hand corner. The top number shows the code of the screen. The bottom one shows the code of the control box. To touch the screen, and activate the screen, you do as it says, touch to begin. You'll then come to this screen. The engine is not running at the moment, so it shows you the PTO will not engage because the engine's off. I can, however, turn on the beacons and I can turn on the work lights. This is found in the main menu. The auxiliary menu, you can turn on the inverter. The nice thing about this smart truck system is if I forget to turn the inverter off, as soon as I turn the ignition off, everything I've activated on the screen will be turned off. Go back to our main. I can turn this one off. To turn on the PTO, the engine must be running. System is now available. If the RPMs of the engines are too high, then it will prompt you this as well. If the handbrake is off, it will also prompt you this as well. When system's available, all you need to do, this is an automatic truck, so I don't need to press the clutch down. On a manual, you'd press the clutch down, but you just press this, engine mode activated, RPMs will go up, and your PTO is engaged. To disengage, press off. When you engage it, your beacons will come on automatically, as shown here. You can switch the beacons off. You don't want them on at the time. Your cog here just gives you some more information, tells you your hour meter. If you had a smart PTO, combined hours would be down at the bottom. Diagnostics. This is basically for electrician. And then settings. This is your smart truck system. In the event of your smart truck system screen not working, there is an override button for the PTO if you're stuck out in the field or out next to a pole and you need to recover your boom. There's a button underneath here on the control box, which I'll switch on now. This will illuminate when it's switched on and it engages the PTO. When you, to disengage this, you must switch it off in the same place. It will not switch off on the screen. Before leaving the yard, you should always do a pre-check on your machine. This starts in the cab to make sure you've got operator's manual, logbook is filled out after the pre-check. All the manuals are in the truck. The truck is compliant and also the machine is compliant. With the decals on the back of the windscreen to tell you about your electrical testing, 6 monthly AE and liner, and also a second set is on the pedestal. But we'll start at the front wheel. So we check our wheel nut indicators. Any loose ones will need tightening before leaving the yard. It shows these, if they're loose, they'll be out of contact with the other one. Check your wheel rims, check your wheels. Moving down here, you're going to check your spring locks on your legs. You're going to check for hose security, hose leaking at the filter. Check your lights, decals. Your oil level should always be checked first thing in the morning when it's cold. wants to be around about this level. Critical bolts, there's critical bolts which have been glued. This shows if they're come loose or anything. You have isolator switch. Check the wiring around there. Check your battery levels. Critical bolts again under here with wiring control boxes. Check toolboxes for security and locks. Check you have your wheel chocks, your high pressure filter, hosing, leaks and any damage. Rear wheel. Check your tyres, inner and outer, wheel nut indicators and rims. Cone holder. Check the operation of your stick, of the switch, make sure it returns back to neutral, and also your lever. Checking on the boom as well for oil leaks, any damage along the boom, covers for damage and cracks. We have critical bolts up here around the slew gear, all need checking. Moving down to this leg, decals, again check your spring lock. Any damage around the leg. Work lights, light on top of your legs, hydraulic hoses, check for leaks. To your rear panel, check your controls, make sure your buttons are free and they return. No damage to your screen. Your emergency stop switch works. Your levers return back to the neutral position. Check all your buttons. Your joystick should move freely and return to the neutral position. Decals. Check your decals down here. Any missing, replace them. Check your decals up here. This one here covers your lubrication. Check your potential plate. You have a lead on this which is also tested. Moving round to this side, work lights again, rear lights, earthing point, no damage around this leg. Check your decals, your light, stabilizer pads, ID plate, which should be the same as the information on your logbook, certification stickers. Check the critical bolts. These again are blued for speed of inspection. Hydraulic hoses, any leaks or damages, again from the cylinders. Check your leaks around the cylinders. Oil level in your slew gearbox. There's a spy hole in here. Check the oil level. Any damage to the bucket, to the stand. Check the security of your handrail. The vise, make sure the vise is securely stowed. Wheel rim, wheel nut indicators. You have a water bottle here. This is not for drinking water, it's just for hands and burns. Check for fullness. Wheel chocks, security. Again, checking your subframe bolts. toolboxes. Check the security of your spare battery, your inverter. Check you have your tools to remove your covers in case of a battery change. Fuel tank, make sure there's no leaks. Wiring, security in condition. Stabilizer pad, decals, flashing light. We have an oil cooler here. For the emergency pump underneath, check wiring and for oil leaks. Condition of the leg. Critical bolts, make sure they're tight and in line. Front wheel, tyre, wheel rim, wheel nut indicators. Working around to the front. Checking lights, mirrors, flashing lights. Completed. Before you leave the yard and first thing in the morning, the truck should be stowed as you see here with a boom on the boom rest, all jacks and outriggers retracted. The oil level on a cold morning should read about this level. You don't really want it too much higher as it could overflow from the breather when it gets hot. Part of the pre-check is to check all your controls at the bottom, which we initially done when we was doing a pre-check walking around. Now we need to liven the controls up, and what we're doing is listening for any unusual sounds or movements or leaking of hydraulic oil. So now set the machine up correctly. When setting up the machine, it has an auto level. We recommend using this all the time. I can now check my boom functions and my bucket functions and jib functions all from this control as well. for unusual movements or unusual sounds. Finish off with an auto stow just to ensure this works, and it will bring the boom exactly down to the correct position. That is the lower controls, or the emergency controls, service controls tested, and I'm happy with those. What I should do now is I will go up into the bucket after fitting my harness and test the bucket controls. In the event of an emergency, you have an emergency control button down here as well. Simply press the button, it will switch off every function, and to reset, just twist and release. You have a display here. This tells you all the information on your truck, on the setup. It tells you your roll and pitch angle on this little truck here. That's your truck. It tells you if your outriggers are stowed in the lock position, or if they're in the mid 1, mid 2, or fully extended position. Also shows you that your jacks are fully stowed. When these are on the ground and stable, they will go green. This one here, the information on here is your boom length, boom height and radius, and it gives you a percentage of the boom in the condition that it's in. Then you also have your battery conditions. You've got your spare battery, which is on the truck, and your bucket battery, tells you the conditions of those. You also have your weight in your bucket and your weight on your winch, and also your pressures. And so basically, yes, this is an information. If you go into press one of these buttons, it takes you to 4 screens. These will tell you if there's any faults throughout the machine. This one should all be good. It also gives you a percentage of your battery, your spare and your bucket battery. To go back to the main screen, just press hold. Your buttons up here, all the red ones here, they need you to hold safety. So if you was going to start it, to stop it, just press stop. No safety required. To auto fold, I've explained how to do an auto fold of what condition the boom has to be in. Press and hold these 2 buttons together. If you think you're going to hit anything, release your fingers. It will stop the auto fold operation. As long as the boom is not directly over the cab, you can then reapply these 2 buttons and it will continue doing your auto fold. With your emergency pump, you need to press your safety and your emergency pump. This will then light up your emergency pump, and then it will do an operation as soon as you select which operation you'd like to do. for example this one, this leg, and then the function. This should be checked every day, either from the lower or the upper station. To switch it off, just press it and that will switch off. This one here is your cooler. You have cooler, auto or manual. I suggest you leave it on auto. Hydraulic tools, there is no hydraulic tools down the bottom here, so this one doesn't activate. You have your engine stop, your engine low idle, which leaves the engine in the first PTO idle speed, which is around about 800 RPM. If you don't want to go to the second one when you're doing a motion, leave this one on. This is your light underneath it, your panel, for working in low lighting or night time. You have a jib and winch, which makes the joystick here, which is a multi-function joystick. This joystick will do your boom, bucket, outriggers, and jib and winch, whichever one you press, and all your information is around the joystick. Color coded, green for bucket, boom is yellow, outriggers are black, and winch is also green because it's part of your bucket. When doing your outrigger operation, you press your outrigger, press which outrigger you want or all, and then you can use your joystick to extend, retract, raise or lower your jacks. This will time out after a while if you don't use it. You have two buttons up here. The auto return is not used in New Zealand market. The auto level is when you have your outriggers fully extended, which we also always recommend. Press your safety and press your auto level, and this will extend your jacks, the front ones first, and then it will extend the rear ones until the machine is automatically leveled and ready to raise the boom. So this works for all your legs. Legs on the, as you see on the decal, are forward like this for each leg. Beams when the jacks are all the way up is this way, and this one here is your function. You must remember to do your outrigger and then function. So now we're going to check the bucket controls. We'll initially do this without any engine running, just to make sure everything's okay. Starting with the main boom joystick, making sure this returns to neutral. Dead man. Then you have your bucket and arm joystick, make sure that returns to neutral. Dead man. Checking the rubbers, make sure they're not split. Check the winch, pay in, pay out. Dead man again. Checking the rubbers. Your jib. Dead man. Check the rubbers. Check all your decals, you can read them. Go for your switches. This is your power switch. It should remain on all the time. Emergency power to drain your battery down when you change it. No holes in the decal. Your start stop switch. Emergency stop. Ensure it releases. Buzzer. Controls on and off. Battery check. Emergency pump. Light on and off. Interference and low idle. Auto fold with a dead man. Bucket level with a dead man. Tools, dead man again, but locking in. A and B. Raise and lower, dead man, momentary. Make sure your tool switches, tool covers are on. You can read all the decals. We will now do a start the engine and we'll check the functions again, listening for unusual noises. As I switch it off, I will check the emergency pump, hold it and do a function. Also check the controls on or off. They are now off. I have no movement. Last thing to check is the auto-stow. My test is complete. I can now pack up my rest of the machine and leave the yard and go to the job. Okay, from the bucket controls, we can do a bucket tilt. So we can tilt the whole bucket over here, and this can be used for removing the liner. You first remove this bolt, or it can be used for removing water or debris from the bucket, or an incapacitated operator. You can tilt the bucket in two places. This is what the first place I'm going to show you. Then I'll show you the second place, which is on the turret. So first of all, start your machine. You'll then look for your bucket level switch, which is down here on the dead man. You activate that by pushing it down, and then you look for your bucket counterclockwise and clockwise joystick, and then you put this in the counterclockwise position, and as you will see, it will tip your bucket over. This will go all the way over. When you're finished doing this operation, rescued your incapacitated operator or emptied your bucket, you then need to correct your bucket as near level as you can before doing any other operation. The other way of tipping your bucket out or doing an operator rescue is from the turret. Open this little hatch up here, start up the engine, activate the spring-loaded switch and also the hydraulic lever, and again this will tip your bucket over to do a rescue or to empty out the contents of your bucket or to remove your liner. Again, on completion, correct this to as horizontal as you can before any other operation. What we'll do now is I'll show you how to correctly set the jib and the winch up. start up your machine. And you'll lower your jib because it's in the raised position. This makes it easier to put the jib in. Remove the bar here. Preparation. Collect your jib. Insert it into the winch. Line the holes up, put your pin back in. This locks in position. Pay out your winch rope. Feed it over your pulley. And this is your jib setup. When using your jib, anything over 45 degrees will lift your maximum weight of 490 kgs. And this is the correct way to set up your jib and winch. So I always recommend that you do an auto fold to finish off your folding of your machine. You can do it from the upper station, which was shown in an earlier video, and you can do it from the lower station. To do it from the lower station, press your safety and hold it, and press your auto fold, and together hold them together. This will retract the boom. Then it will revolve around to the home position over the cab. Once it's in its home position, it will start to lower over the cab. Make sure you have full vision of where your boom is at all times, so you're not going to hit any objects. It will stop and then bring your arm around and your bucket around until they are placed in the correct position. You can stow this boom anything over 0 degrees. It will raise up to 15 degrees and carry out these functions. Once the bucket is in position, it will continue lowering down onto the boom rest and then onto the bucket rest also. That is an auto fold, and release your fingers. In the event of an incapacitated operator, or he's lost all controls of the bucket functions, your emergency panel or your surface controls will override the bucket controls. So to operate the boom, I will push my boom switch, and then I shall use my joystick to retract the boom, and then I can lower the boom. I can also swing the boom around and I can rescue the stranded operator. In the event of a joystick failure and you want to recover your legs, you can do an override on here. These are your leg controls. At the moment they will not work, but if I press the outrigger here, select which leg, which will be this one here for my jack, and do the function, retract, this will lift that jack up. As you can see, it is timed out, so I can press this again and do exactly the same thing again until it's all the way home. In the event of a truck engine or a truck PTO failure, we have an emergency pump, which I can rescue the boom and bring it down to the ground. How you do this is you press your safety switch and your emergency pump switch together. This is not activated until I press my boom selection and I do a function. You will then hear the pump activate and the boom is being retracted. Operation for emergency pump is 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off to cool down, and then 30 seconds on again until the boom is recovered. In the event of an emergency, you'd just continue recovering this until the operator has been recovered. If we have a failed battery or no power from the bucket, we can only get this bucket down a certain distance, and then I have to recover it through the valve block, which is situated in the back here. What we'll do now is I'm going to remove this cover and I'll show you how far I can bring it down and then do the rest of the recovery by the valve block. First of all, we remove a couple of pins on these little shock absorbers here, keeping these safe. Tap these off. Close the lid down. Going to then loosen, remove these bolts at the top here. Remove the two side bolts as well, which is a 13mm. Then completely remove the cover. Inside you'll see we have some control levers here. These are for recovery of the boom. And even if the joystick actually fails, you can recover the boom here. Again, you will have to press the boom button and do it because it will time out. So let's start the machine and we'll get the bucket down as far as we can using the ordinary controls. So press boom and lower. As you see, that is as far as I can come down. So now I have to use the manual controls. So I'll reach in here, start lowering this down. Ensuring that my boom, this will time out, is extended enough so it doesn't foul. Till I get to a certain height, I can remove the cover to change the battery. So I'm now going to remove this cover here and we are going to do a battery change. I have removed the bucket cover. Row bolts are in here, just placed on the ground there. This is the battery we're going to change because it's flat. So just remove this cable. When you're finished, it always wants stowing back in here out the way nice and tidy. Just disconnect the plug. I have the battery down here, which I've got out of my toolbox. Remove the wing nut, which holds a bar on at the bottom of the battery. Remove the bar, just take the weight of the battery. Just put this up here. Now the battery is not falling, as you can see. There's a wedge shape here, which is spring loaded. So with the connection out the way, just push the battery up, hold the wedge out the way, and the battery will slide all the way down nicely. Change this with your fully charged battery coming from the bottom. So it just slides all the way up nicely. As soon as it's in place, you can actually let it go. Place your your bar back in with your wing nut. Tighten this all the way up. Do your connections together. Make sure they're nice and tight. And feed that down into there so it keeps it nice and tidy. And then, once you've done this, replace your bucket cover and you're all good to go. If you get into trouble and you need to stop the machine quickly, which will stop the engine and all hydraulic functions, there is an emergency stop here. To activate this, simply press it. You'll hear an alarm so everybody knows that you're in trouble. To reset it, just twist and let it spring out. After you'll finish your operation for the day and you're ready to go home, what we do is we carry out a post check, which is very similar to a pre-check. We're looking for any damage that might have happened, any oil leaks that might have occurred, and making sure we pick up all the tools and everything and stabilise the pads as we go around. So we'll start that off. I'm going to check my front tyre, make sure that hasn't gone down. Rims, wheel nut indicators. Check my oil level, it's a bit higher because it's warm. Check no leaks around here. Check decals, leg damage. Pick up my stabiliser pads as I'm going. Make sure this is in its hole. Looking at battery level, isolator switch, critical bolts along the chassis. Close all my tool bolts, make sure they're all closed. Toolbox. Wheel chocks are secure, no leaks around here. Go to the wheel. Inner and outer tyre, wheel rim, wheel nut indicators, cone holder, make sure everything's secure around here. That's all closed up. No loose bolts. Stabiliser pads. You're going to fall over and break my neck. Make sure that's away. Decals. No oil leaks. No damage around here. Make sure all my legs are locked in by the locking pin. Checking around the back here. Check my controls. Everything's off. Final check, no oil leaks. Decals are fine. Close this off. Decals. Look at the hoses, no oil leaks. Looking around here. Central plate secure. Stabiliser pad. Checking my wheels. No, I'm not. Checking my leg. Getting there towards the end of the day. Decals, light. Checking up here for oil leaks, no oil leaks. Security around here. Make sure my vice is stowed and locked in. Oh, will you leave me alone? Wheels, tires, wheel rims, wheel nut indicators. Checks all my toolbox are nice and tight. Wheel chocks. No fuel leaks. This is all secure. Make sure my battery has been replaced. My tools are here. Nice and secure. Stabiliser pad secure. Check your leg. No leaks, no damage. Decals are all right. It's all locked in. All cooler. Pump and wiring. Wheels okay. Tires okay. Real rim and wheel nut indicators. Coming around the front here. Making sure everything's okay. We are good to go.